While the media reported in great detail about the bombardment of Dubrovnik by the Yugoslav People's Army, also known as the Siege of Dubrovnik, it all but ignored what was happening in Kupari. With the hotels emptied of guests, a small Croatian police force was left guarding the resorts. This is Hotel Kupari. It is next to Hotel Pelegrin, which we looked at last time and went into the history a little bit. But seeing as how the siege in Kupari was all but ignored, finding information about these actual hotels has been difficult. The hotels themselves weren't really something that your average person could come to, like some of the other abandoned hotels in Croatia. They were really for the Yugoslav military and people connected to the Socialist Party of Yugoslavia at the time. So it is a little bit difficult to really dive into the history of the hotels individually. But let's see what we can see. This bay in Kupari that all of these hotels line is called the Župa Bay, and on October 14, 1991, Yugoslav naval vessels began firing on the hotels. Within 3 weeks, Yugoslav troops had recaptured Kupari from the Croatian National Army. It wasn't until May 1992 that a counterattack returned Croatian forces, but by then the damage had been done. In addition to the gaping holes from the shelling from the naval boats, a lot of which we saw in the Pelegrin Hotel video, and it's evident in a lot of the other two hotels too. But Hotel Kupari really didn't have a whole lot of these shelling holes. But one thing I thought that was different was there was a lot of evidence of gunfighting in and between the Hotel Kupari and especially the Hotel Grand, which you'll see some of that a little bit later. And also, not only was there rampant gunfighting in and in between these hotels, Hotel Kupari, I noticed there was a lot of burn marks everywhere. There was clearly fires or something like that. And doing a little bit of research, it turned out that that was phosphorus bombs. And that's why a lot of these, the walls look torched, a lot of the ceilings look torched, that kind of thing. Unfortunately, by the time the Croatians were able to get back to these hotels, they had all pretty much been looted. Anything of value was either destroyed or taken. And other than for a few years in the late 1990s, the Croatian army has a military base just down the street from these hotels. And that's why you can't get into, Tito's old villa back there. But the Croatian army did set up a base in these hotels. And that was in the late 1990s. They did that for a couple of years. But since then, they've just been abandoned and anyone can just walk into them. And often people do. People could still go and take things if there's anything left to take. And we saw kids that were throwing things off the balconies onto the ground and just having fun. But it is what it is. Be also a really good place to play paintball if you were so inclined. And again, people are looking at renovating this area. It's such prime real estate because if you fly into Dubrovnik or out of Dubrovnik, you have to pass Kupari anyway. It's sort of the middle ground between the airport and Dubrovnik proper. So this is an amazing spot for anyone wanting to travel to Dubrovnik or through Dubrovnik or from Dubrovnik. And it's absolutely beautiful. So there has been a lot of talk of people wanting to revitalize this, but sadly, they want to demolish everything but the Grand Hotel. So it was really awesome that I got to see these and sort of document this before they end up being demolished, if they end up being demolished. Either way, it's going to be a very, very expensive project. So now walk with me through Hotel Kupari, and I will just point out some of the relevant things that I saw. I don't know how accessible the roof was to just random guests, but it does give you a very, very good view of Juba Bay. Like Hotel Pelegrin, the rooms did appear to be relatively small, but like I said, these are mostly for military members who are probably used to pretty cramped accommodations as it was. And if you're staying in a place like this, you're probably going to be spending the majority of your time out having fun. But you can also clearly see all the black on the walls and the ceilings is clearly burnt. This was from the phosphorus bombs. Another beautiful view looking at the town of Kupari itself. It was absolutely lovely. Aside from Dubrovnik's old town, which got old pretty quickly, Kupari was a much nicer place to stay. If I had to choose, if I had to recommend a place for people to stay, if either Dubrovnik or Kupari, definitely take a day trip to Dubrovnik just to see the old town or whatever. But if you don't like cities and you don't like cramped and you don't like busy, then Kupari would be a much nicer place. There's a lot of really good restaurants, very walkable. I really did like Kupari. These are definitely my kind of rooms, though. You just walk in, there's a bed, you just throw your bag down and just go. Just go have fun. I really don't know what those phosphorus bombs that everything I saw did, but it must just be fire, 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 because this is burnt everywhere. It looks so peaceful now, but it was a raging battlefield at one point. So this hallway will eventually take you to the Pelegrin Hotel, the one that we explored in the last video. It's pretty long. I imagine it was covered or something. I doubt it was just an open walkway like this. But man, I can't imagine this place must have been absolutely magnificent back in the day. I don't know what they're going to replace this with, but it should be pretty amazing. We'll see. And this is Hotel Pelegrin. Everything up there is burnt. These lower levels must have just been kitchens or cafeterias or something like that. There was no room on these lower rooms on these lower levels. It was all looked like more of the infrastructure for the hotel, and especially this level, it seemed like this was a giant kitchen or something like that. So this is probably where the restaurant was. I don't know where all that foam came from. I love spiral staircases. I really have no idea what this bottom floor was used for, because there is access from like straight out to the beach. So I'd imagine to be somewhat used, but all of the actual building itself seems a lot more industrialized than the rest of it. And this is also how you get to the pool. Around here is where I also found one of the best evidences of an actual gunfight, or at least where someone was clearly shot. This might have been like a bar or something. And the massive, beautiful pool. So this was one of the most terrifying things I found in this entire hotel. This staircase specifically. And if you look at the sides of the staircase, these are all bullet holes. And if you look at this side, that is where the bullet keyholes, where it goes through something and hits sideways. And to demonstrate this, I replicated this myself. I broke out my Yugoslavian AK-47, shot through a few things, and managed to get the bullets to keyhole, at least one of them. And that's exactly what you're seeing on this staircase. So, somebody was coming down those stairs, and a ton of bullets came right at him. You can see where the holes go through that and hit that pillar in the center. Somebody had a bad day there. More evidence of bullet holes. Well, that's all I have for you guys this week. Thank you very much for watching. This is another installment of a very, very tragic chapter in European history. And I'm really glad that I got to explore these hotels and share them with you before they ultimately end up being demolished. So, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you guys next time.